that's the owner vet. I really hope that owners just pause, just step back, just have a moment where you go, what's happening on the other side of the table? And my biggest tip for owners is to say, look, I'm all ears. And I know that sounds daft, but when I'm trying to formulate a plan for you, I'm trying to work out what is acceptable to you, what is affordable to you, what is physically capable of you. I have so many things that I'm looking at you, I'm looking at what you wear, I'm looking at what your handbag, I'm looking at what car you drove in, I'm looking at what kind of dog you chose, I'm looking at how you handle your dog, how did you pick up your dog, what lead, what collar. I'm trying to get an assessment because what I want to do is work with you, not against you. And that does conflict a little bit with gold standard, because if we did gold standard every time, we'd be robots. No emotion there. And there is emotion because we want the best out of the situation. So in that situation, for me, when an owner goes, look, I'm all ears, what are my options? It gives me the chance to introduce a range and say, well, we can go from here to this, and there's a lot in the middle. Where should we go? And that is a very better working relationship in my mind.
Yeah. And actually what's interesting there, is you touched on the elements of the model that I use to apply to vets when you think about how the vet is thinking about the owner. So when the vet is thinking about the owner, the owner's ability to give, let's just say to buy the pain medication that they're then going to use. We can think about their ability to do that in sort of three ways. So they need to have sufficient capability to do that. I'll explain that in a minute. They need to have sufficient opportunity to do it, and they need to have sufficient motivation to do it. Because if those three factors are not present, then the owner will not use that pain relief. And so if we just think a little bit more, the reason these three aspects are part of the model that I use in my papers, which is called the CAM model. So capability, opportunity, motivation leads to behaviour. And this actually arose from the American legal system, which, as part of its proving whether or not someone could commit a crime, they use these kind of three levers. You know, do they have the capability? Did they have the opportunity? And that's very simplistic. But you know, as a framework for like them working out what fits under each bracket, they could then use that model and then flesh it out. And there's a whole suite of things that influence each of those aspects. But so when we understand that for any behaviour to be performed, whether that's for the owner or whether that's for the vet, those three conditions have to be met. We can then think about all the things we could do as a function of affecting one or other of those groups.
Yeah, no, I love that. And guys, seriously, I'll put the links. Would you mind if I screenshot those tables and put them up?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Go for it.
Because it really clarifies understanding the person that you want to work with. And I think it's really important because chronic disease like OA, you need a good rapport. And before we went live, we were saying that there is a really big hindrance for good working relationships at the moment in the vet industry. It's because there is staff turnover, there is changing faces in a practice. You don't get to see the same vet day in, day out. And it is quite complicated to build that good rapport. So we talked about owner and vet. Let's just stay here a bit longer. You just play a bit more with the CAM, because I've got my list, the CAM model, what is it? And then look at it from each stakeholder.